they're a disproportionate amount of the homeowners, right? So as you stated, 29% of the adult population, but 44% of the homeowners. And both of those are expected to grow up to maybe half of all homeowners. So if you have half of all homeowners that do not want to move and become some of the most stubborn people on the planet as they age, I think of our inventory challenge.
Right.
Right? That's a huge amount of people will be like, no, not only am I not moving anytime soon, I'm not moving ever for the rest of my life. In essence, is what they're saying, right? A huge percentage of it. So frustrating, Bruce. It's almost comical at this point, but you have to work through a lot of frustration to be able to laugh about anything like this, frankly. And, the fact that they're sending out postcards to homeowners trying to find out who's been quote unquote harmed, when the homeowner over the last decade, and especially in the last handful of years, has been nothing but, supported and ballooned in what's happening in being a homeowner. And you don't have to go very far in reading what buyers and sellers say about the real estate agents that they use, right? Because we poll these people every single year. We actually poll the consumer and we ask them, hey, are we doing a good job or not, in essence? And year after year after year after year after year, the consumer says that the real estate agent is providing a really high level of service in general, period.
Oh, resoundingly. Yep.
Period. End of story. And so it's such a contrast to the experience of the homeowner in the last decade, what the consumer is saying about their experience with real estate agents. And now all of a sudden we're, tied in with NAR and associations and brokerages. Somehow we are harming the consumer. It just doesn't make any sense to me, Bruce, other than these trolls looking for additional money wherever they can try and find it. And we'll see if they actually end up finding any or not, Bruce. That's the real big question, right?
It is the big question.
If you're expecting or counting on mortgage rates coming down dramatically in the next 12 months, you should really pay closer attention, right? You could cross your fingers and that might be as good of a plan as counting on mortgage rates coming down dramatically. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't move at all. But here you have some of these key metrics that the federal government looks at still above where they want them to be, right? Despite 16 months, was it, in a row?
Yep.
It's still, the inflation numbers overall are still not where they want them to be. And you've got this, quantitative tightening on top of that, which says, hey, what if we're going to sell off some of our mortgage-backed securities that we bought a whole bunch of when rates were crazy low, right, through the pandemic? Well, what happens if they cut rates and they sell off a bunch of mortgage-backed securities? It all kind of points to this idea that higher for longer, which is what Powell's been saying for a long time now.
Yeah.
And of course, I've advocated that we should just believe what he says because he seems to be, being forthcoming. It tends to point to that might actually be the case, regardless of what the exact rate ends up being.